Hello everyone and welcome back to Apprentice League Season 15. It is race 4 here in the Netherlands at Zandvoort, Guzzyman's very nice looking track. We've got 12 drivers on the grid as well as 2 new ones but one returning one. Jocko is here from mobile, so we will see if he carries the traits of an average mobile player and is very dirty. And we've got Despacito, who is a returning driver. I don't know when he last raced, but to the best of my knowledge it's been a while. So we will wait and see how he does in this race. We have also got all the usuals, Ludwig, Mathigal, Axis, and your championship leader Gerald Joling, looking for 4 out of 4 wins at this point in AL and GL, which is kind of insane. First lap of qualifying, guess who it's going to be? It's of course Gerald Joling with the .0, 5 tenths ahead of everyone else. Holy moly. Gerald Joling setting the bar at .0 in the first lap of qualifying. That is great stuff from him, making a little mistake on the second lap, not the 20th lap, Jesus, second lap. So he will not improve here. He will maybe need to improve. I'd imagine we'll probably see a sub. We'll probably get into the 37s at some point on this lap. He will not improve here with that mistake. Will anyone else improve to go quicker? Yes. Ludwig with a 37.9, Petal with a .05. Ludwig, I believe 3rd in the standings currently. Let me check. He has been kind of good, but also kind of unlucky this season. A couple podiums. He is 2nd in the standings. Okay, so that would get him a good points advantage on our championship leader Gerald Joling if he can keep this pole position and do anything with it in the race. Last lap of qualifying, he'll take pole position for race 4. It is going to be Ludwig with a 37.9. Gerald Joling improves, but just missing out by 3 thousandths to a 37.93. He will start 2nd on the grid. Petal will start 3rd with a 38.05. That's 2 sub 38s for anyone who predicted that in who's watching the stream. Jocko in P4 on debut. Axis P5 with a good qualifying for him. Toaster P6, Ricky Y P7, Mr. Crunk P8, Mathigal P9, Sunday Driver P10, Despacito on return in 11th, and Gale Prads down in last with a 37.42. Well then, everyone, welcome back to Apprentice League Season 15, Race 4. We've got Ludwig on pole and your championship leader in P2. No more delay, we are on our way in the Netherlands, the long run into Turn 1. One of the longest this season, actually, and it's not even that long. Very interesting stuff. Gerald Joling going down the inside of Ludwig in Turn 1. Petal trying to do the exact same. Ludwig losing 2 positions on the start, starting from pole. Oh, and that is a lag rocket and a half from Gerald Joling. And Petal is all the way... Oh my goodness, Mr. Crank and Mathigal flung off the track, which would mean Galeprad and Sunday Driver have gained massive positions. Petal, getting very laggy there. We will need to watch out for him. Big lag rocket at the start of the race, which saw Gerald Joling drop down to 5th and Petal drop all the way down to 8th. Pushes Despacito off as well. These drivers are struggling. Mr. Crunk and Mathigal now down at the back by a second and a half already. Petal and Galeprad, the 2 Red Bull cars, going too wide, and that is a lag rocket. Foreman backs out of that one nicely. Galeprad up into P7 after starting last. Axis leads the race. Axis is leading for the Kick Sauber team there, 2-3. It is looking like Silverstone, or well, half of Silverstone basically. Jocko loses positions as well. Axis loses a couple of positions, getting pushed off the track. This top pack has fully broken off away here. Jocko struggling to keep it on the track, just about does it though. Ludwig, Ricky Boy almost getting sent flying off of the track with the lag rocket. 6 drivers all in the top pack by 2.5 seconds by lap 3. This is Apprentice League. This is great stuff. And Mathigal apologising to Mr. Crunk, not going back to help him though. Axis, Ricky Roy goes through on Gerald Joling, and Axis 3 wide through turn 3 that was there. Ricky Boy leads from your championship leader Gerald Joling, and the top pack is being closed in on by Mr. Petal, who is on the soft tyres. They're being led by medium runners currently, which is maybe not the best if these drivers want to secure guaranteed top 6. Ricky has indeed been having keyboard issues throughout the week, which has not been great for him. He's weaving on the straight. Interesting tactics from him. Axis just biding his time, trying to get through on all of these fighting drivers. Ricky Boy has a comfortable lead currently. Gerald Joling is not leading a race, which is actually kind of refreshing to see. However, he is on the mediums, so having Ricky Boy at the front, unless his keyboard starts spazzing again, is maybe the best option on the soft tyres. Axis dropping back down into P6, just biding his time behind all of these drivers, waiting for someone to mess up, which they are bound to do. Gerald Joling gets pushed into the sand by Ludwig there. That is not great from Ludwig there. We do not like to see stuff like that happening. However, it is Gerald Joling. He will be back in the race at some point. Up at the front, we are going 3 wide into turn 3. Jocko and Ricky back out of that. Toaster now leads from Ricky Boy, from Jocko, from Ludwig, and then it is a pack of Axis, Peto and Gerald Joling, who will be trying to get past Peto without causing a lag rocket that would see him even further back. Gerald Joling is chasing his 4th win out of 4 in this season, which is actually kind of mental to say. Almost 3 wide into this very technical section. Ludwig goes through on Jocko. He is down to P4, pushes Axis into the grass. Peto takes a little bit of grass as well. That is given the top 3, top 2, top 1 a gap. Toaster gapping Ricky Boy with the mistake going into the pit lane there. It is Jocko, Ludwig, Gerald Joling doing the 1 stop, and all of these drivers will now be doing a 2 stop, securing themselves onto another set of soft tyres. They're doing soft 5, soft 6, I believe that will be. Mr. Crunk struggling on the lap 6 old tyres. Axis trying to get past on the outside. Mr. Crunk is not letting him, but Axis is on the new tyres. He needs to get past. However, he's been held up massively by Mr. Crunk in what turn is that? It's turn 10. I finally got corner numbers up. He is now passed. However, he lost a decent amount of time. Will he get held up behind Mathigo now as well? Maybe Despacito letting Ricky Boy pass there. We'll take the slipstream now. Mathigo maybe in their slip as well. Up at the top, we've got a pack of Gerald Joling, Jocko, and Mr. Peto, aka Mr. 300 ping. They will all need to pit once again. Peto should maybe can you do 10 laps on... Yeah, you can do 10 laps on hard. Okay, he will be doing soft 7, hard 10 then. Maybe just trying to take the slipstream from the top 2 drivers a little longer. Ludwig just behind as well on the warm mediums. I'd imagine Peto will pit these drivers up ahead. The top 3 currently in provisional 1, 2 and 3 will pit either this lap or the next lap. Maybe doing medium 8, medium 9 or hard 9. One of them. As you can tell, I'm maybe not the greatest strategy genius. Toaster is massively leading this race on paper once the top 3 pit on new softs with a 1.5 second gap to Ricky Boy, Sunday driver, who's holding up Axis. Jesus, we got there in the end. Holding up Axis on the older tyres. Axis is on fresh softs, and Sunday driver is not wanting to let him pass, which has let Peto and Matthew's not in that fight, which has let Peto catch up as well. I cannot speak today, Jesus. Axis through on Jocko as well with the undercut. However, Jocko will now be going to the end. Axis will need to pit again, and being held up by Sunday driver. Ricky Boy has lost a mountain of time as well to Toaster in that stint. Whereas Peto came out in the pits, he came out to P6 fighting with Jocko and Sunday driver as well. In the fight with Axis. Up at the top, these 2 drivers will pit this lap onto medium 8, I think. Oh, there's a picture of T in the chat. Why is there T? I don't care, there's T. Mediums go Gerald Joling and Ludwig. They are dropped down to P7 and P6. Seeing Gerald Joling in P6 is just... it's kind of mad. He has been leading races by like 3 seconds pretty consistently, but he has been pushed off the track multiple times. Gets done there again by the debutant driver, Mr. Jocko. Just not too sure how to race in cleanly in the leagues right now, I guess. Toaster leads the race by 2.5 seconds, so we will wait and see what he can do on the soft stint at the end. See if he can catch back up to the medium runners. I'm not sure how that'll go at the end. I know the soft tyres do have a massive advantage, especially with the hard. The hard tyres are terrible. So Jocko may be making a mistake pitting onto them down at the back. Despacito and Mathigo both pit from that fight down at the back. There's not much fighting going on. Mathigo and Mr. Crank had a bit of a tangle at the start of the race, and not again. Mr. Crunk passes Mathigo very cleanly. Sunday Driver catching up to the back of Gilpred, who's got to pit again. Bad race for him. Peto is down in P7 with a second gap to these drivers. Axis and Ricky Boy make their last pit stop of the race, as does Toaster, who... Where does he come out? He comes out a second behind Peto, who's a second behind the top three. It is most definitely possible. Look on the minimap how close he is. The other two drivers behind him, Ricky Boy and Axis, they're out of that fight, I believe. I can't see them catching up, especially if they're going to keep fighting. But Toaster is very much here. He will want to get past Peto. Peto will want him to pass as well. Take him to that top pack. He does very cleanly from Peto. Toaster. I know, it feels strange not pooping on Peto. We will wait and see what happens up at the top here. Peto asking to slip Toaster. These drivers going 3 wide into turn 3. 2 wide into turn 3 with Gerald Joling and Ludwig. And look who is catching up a second in that lap. It is Toaster, followed by Peto as well, getting that lovely soft slipstream. Why are these drivers fighting? Why are they fighting? They're on much worse tyres, and Toaster is behind on soft. That is not great. Not great tactics from the top 3. Gerald Joling still fighting with Ludwig. No one wants to slipstream, and Toaster is very, very much here with another 4 laps to go. The bread making device could win this whole thing on the soft tyres if he can catch up in the next couple of laps. I believe this is also his shortest soft stint as well, so he will have very fresh softs by the end of the race. Jocko trying to go down the inside of Ludwig, messes that move up just a little bit, takes too much grass. Gerald Joling leads. He is trying to get a gap on Ludwig, however, not to be for now, and Toaster has caught onto the back of Jocko. Will he be able to make the move down the straight? You would think so on the soft tyres, maybe even before then, down the outside of Jocko into the main straight. Mr. Crank has he's called it quits, he's given up, but up at the top, Toaster fighting with Jocko, gets pushed off the track. Jocko pushing Toaster on the better tyres off of the track. They're not great to see from the new driver. He lets him back through though, so he's obviously recognised that was a bad move. Toaster is only within a second of the top 2 drivers. Ludwig leads once again from Gerald Joling. Toaster fighting with Jocko. Jocko trying to go down the outside of turns 12. That is, I've got a track map up. I have to keep looking down. My phone keeps turning off. Toaster losing the top pack because he's being pushed off once again by Jocko. Up at the top, Gerald Joling leads again. Jocko, what is he doing? He could have been up at the top pack if he just took the slipstream off of Toaster. However, Toaster has also made some mistakes as well. Mathigo putting F. Why? I don't know. He's nowhere near anyone. A mistake, I guess. Toaster, it's looking very unlikely now that he will catch the top pack with 2 seconds. But up at the top pack, we're going to, hopefully, unless anything happens on this final lap, have a fight right until the finish line. Ludwig trying to go down the outside as we start the final lap of the race, lap 17, and Toaster is out of this one unless these two drivers push each other off the track as Ludwig goes down the inside of turn 2, the big S's section. Can you even call them S's on this track? Probably not. Gerald Joling biding his time just behind. He is a very smart driver. He will know exactly already where he is going to make his move on Ludwig if it is able to come on this lap. The exact same tyre difference and only a few more corners left to go. Ludwig making a little mistake there. Gerald Joling still just behind, not making any moves, and Ludwig hits the grass and pushes Gerald Joling on to the grass. Toaster goes through. He has been held up. He sticks in P3. Ludwig is going to win in Zandvoort, but maybe unfairly. Gerald Joling takes P2. Toaster in P3. Jocko in P4. Peto and Ricky Roy take P5 and P6. Axis in P7. Sunday Driver in P8. Mathigo P9. That was such a weird race. Despacito gets passed by Gilprad on the line there. Never mind, he takes P10. Gilprad P11. Mr. Crunk decided to give up at the end there. That was such a such a weird end to the race there. I'd imagine that'll be a penalty. Ludwig just sort of, I guess, pooped himself when he saw Gerard Joling going for the move on the final corner and decided to send him into the wall. Toaster could have won that, however, he decided to do the sportingly thing and wait behind the two drivers because they did warrant that win. One of them did, however, that is not maybe the best way to do it, and I'd imagine we will see some reports this result could change. However, that was a pretty decent race for Apprentice League standards, and we've only got one race to go here. That does also put an end to Gerard Joling's winning streak in AL and JL. He's won 3 out of 3 in both leagues. This puts an end to it, unless he does report Ludwig, which I would imagine he will, because that was pretty ridiculous at the end, unless something happened with the trailers that we did not see. I'm going to stop yapping now. We go to Munich to end the season off next week, which will be very interesting to see, unless Gerard Joling's car explodes or he doesn't make the race and some miracle happens for Ludwig. I'd imagine we pretty much have our championship winner sorted. However, I'm not going to say that yet because then that will spoil next week. So we will see you then. See you all. I thought OBS wasn't recording. There it is. Thank God. We will see you in Munich next week. Adios.